I went out to Art Blakey and I said, Mr. Blakey, we're playing tomorrow night in the off night, and I wonder if it'd be okay if I could use your drums. And he said, "What? What do you mean? What do you mean coming up here and asking me if you can use my drums? You don't have to ask." He scared the hell out of me to the
I'm
point
sure
where
he
people
did. That
came.
just scared me.
Yeah, that's the impression I wanted to give.
Life and music with Manny Kellogg. And I'm so excited to have my good buddy, my mentor. I have been following this gentleman since high school, and that was 1967. I remember when he was in the Count Basie band. He played for Sarah Vaughan, Nat King Cole, and finally with the great Tony Williams. I'd like to introduce him honorably, my good friend and mentor, Harold Jones. How you doing, my man? Let's talk.
Just fine, Manny. Good to talk with you, man. Yeah, all right.
Hey, man, just let's go ahead and dive into it, man. You know, let's talk to the listeners and tell them where you from, man.
I'm from Richmond, Indiana.
Okay.
That's where I went to the high school. I went to all of my schools in Richmond, Indiana. And then there came a band instructor teacher that told me when I was a senior that he could get me a scholarship, and if a full scholarship at the American Conservatory of Music in Chicago.
All
And
right.
he told me what I'd have to play for the exam piece and what I would have to do. And he got me on it, and I started playing it. And I went up there to the American Conservatory, took the test. I not only got in, they gave me a job as a teacher of beginning students
Okay.
because I was doing all of it so well the proper
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Okay.
So I that was a great boost for me. And there again, I got to say that first teacher was Robert Carr in Richmond, Indiana. But the drum teacher was Jack Kukowski, and he had a band, Jack Kukowski and his xylophone band. They were
Okay.
the last of the vaudeville in the pit type cats, where we had the wood block and the cowbell and the tempo blocks, and the bass drum had a lake scene on it, and we had a light bulb inside the drum. Yeah, well, not only it showed up the lake, which is how that came about, but it was to keep that head from changing and pitch and whatnot.
Really?
Yeah, that's what that light
Interesting.
bulb inside the drum was for originally.
I didn't. So were you using calf tone?
Everything was calfskin.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I was one of the last guys to let go of calfskin, and that was because I was idolizing Mel Lewis, and he was one of the last cats to get rid of it. And
Yeah.
then one of the cats I met was Remo Belly, and man, he took me out to the factory and he showed me the drum heads that would sound like calf. They were coated so they felt like calf,
Yep.
and you could play them outdoor in the rain. So I kind of had to bend to go with him because when you travel, you can't keep tuning that drum every night,
That's right.
which I probably did the first 10 or 20 years. I mean, I that's what we knew what to do, and that plastic, I call it plastic heads, really eased that part of the job. Yeah. So anyhow, I got in there at the American Conservatory of Music, and the teacher there was James Dutton, Dutton,
Okay.
and this guy was a good teacher, and he was a marimba teacher. I mean that in the American Conservatory there were nothing written for the drum set, and when I went to them and asked them why I had to take an exam on something else, they told me because nothing has been written for the drum set.
Hmm.
So anyhow, I took the exam. I think I passed it on a marimba scholarship. Uh,
Really?
this guy put me in on a room with a marimba, and I didn't come out for a couple of weeks at least. So I was knowing what to do and it started making sense. I was only playing as good as bass parts, but I was playing them. Yeah.
Okay.
So then I got into music school, and they said, well, now to keep your B plus average, to keep your scholarship, you have to know how to play piano.
Whoa.
Oh boy! So here I go with this. And about that time, though, I was working in the near north side with a trio. Jack DeJohnette was on piano. I want to say the bass player was Scotty Hope. And we were playing in that new North Side in Chicago, man. We were a hot group. Actually, we were on the cover of that North Side magazine. I I try to keep two copies of everything I'm on,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I don't know where one is of that. But yeah, and so bless his soul that just passed away, Jack. I said
yeah.
I said, man, my piano player. Yeah, but
And he played piano just as good as he played drums.
I didn't know he played drums when I was in Chicago. He only
Really,
played piano. Yeah.
really.
So I wonder where he got that from. If I'm the only drummer he was listening to, I don't know.
Wonder where he flew in from.
I, I started thinking on it. I said, wait a minute. Yeah, this guy's been listening to me too much.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Well, that's quite a. You know what? I say that's quite a compliment, man. Because I listen to you right now.
Okay.
To this very
Okay.
day.
Well, I gotta say, I like this plane. So, yeah. So, if it was part of me, good, good. But yeah, I went through that. You know what? I got so upset after a year or two at that school, not having drum set be a legitimate instrument. I wrote a piece for an exam piece in colleges.
Okay.
It was called Sideways Tweed, and it featured the drum set, the tambourine, and the triangle. If you can remember, you can't imagine that. But I, I
Yeah.
just,
Right.
I had to play the tambourine. I studied it for a year on tambourine because we used a snare drum book. There was no tambourine books written. We used a snare drum book, and you could play everything on the tambourine. You could play with it on a snare drum with two hands.
Really.
And then the next year, I had to play the triangle for a year, and we used the snare drum book. And you can do everything on the triangle with one hand with those two corners, and any way like that. You can do everything on the triangle that you can do on the snare drum with two hands.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's the kind of learnings I was getting. It was deep. It really was. When you learn something, you learned it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
anyway,
tell me.
go ahead.
I was going to say, well, tell me something, my man. I know you probably. This is probably a tough question. Who were some of your influences coming along?
Man, mine were the basic ones. Because back then, there weren't that many. I mean, Max Roach, Art Blakey, Philly Joe
Yeah.
Jones, Sonny. Well, Sonny wasn't an idol necessarily, tell you what to sing. But there was Louis Belson, Buddy Rich, Mel Lewis. I mean, I love those little old Louis Belson records when he played Skin Deep with Duke Ellington.
Yeah.
That's when I heard the drum set, man. It sounded melodic playing that.
So you were listening to a lot of big band drummers.
You know, I don't think I was because it was really Max Roach and Art Blakey, and then Philly Joe Jones and Miles type drummers. But the drummer that taught me the difference between this and that and what was happening was Joe Hunt. Uh,
Joe Hunt.
Joe Hunt. They just re-released. I saw out there a Bill Evans record that Joe Hunt's the drummer on,
Okay.
and it was way back when Bill Evans was just coming up, and Joe was the drummer, and he played with I want to say Gary Burton, and he taught up at Berkeley for probably 20 years, and he was the guy that in Richmond, Indiana, he was teaching me the different aspects because he was the drummer for the David Baker Big Band in
Okay.
Indianapolis.
Okay.
Now, he used to let me ride over with him to that rehearsal. And that big band, I mean, it had guys in there. It was Freddie Hubbard, James Spaulding, Larry Ridley, Slide Hampton, and Joe was the drummer. He was one of the drummers. And when Joe had to go to the bathroom, I sat in and played the tune.
Okay.
Yeah. So Joe was a great influence. I mean, I remember the day in high school when the guys picked me up at high school, and we were going to go someplace to where we were going to jam. These guys had tears in their eyes, and these are the hippest cats I know. I mean, they wore sunglasses at night. And
Yeah.
so
Okay.
I said, "Man, these guys are too hip to have tears in their eyes. I wonder what's wrong." And that's when they said, "Bird died today."
Oh.
And I can remember that day as clear as it was last month in the car.
Did you
Yeah,
ever get a chance to play with Bird?
no,
Uh,
no, no. I can't think of anybody I never got a chance to play with. I know with Thelonious Monk, Danny Richmond has to be the greatest drummer in the world
who was
because
that?
Danny Richmond, didn't he play the drums for Thelonious Monk? Who was
I
playing?
know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, well I'm telling you, Thelonious Monk is so his music so esoteric. You got to have a swinging drummer. I always thought the same thing about Dave Brubeck. You know, if
Yeah.
that Joe Morello and that bass player weren't locking in, man, that music could have been pretty far out. Stan Kenton, his music was a little outside the box, but he had Mel Lewis, Shelly Manne.
Yeah.
These are masters at the drums. So I tried to do the research and see how far back it goes to credit anything.
Some of the stuff that Joe Morello was playing as a blind person was just scary.
Yes.
You know, I listened to some of his stuff all the time, and I be saying, how did he do that?
Yeah.
You know, and it was everything was perfect. He never overplayed the measure, never underplayed the measure. It
Right.
was right on all the time.
Right. Right. And that Brubeck, he played outside the box. There's some
Yeah, he
too.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, so you had to be swinging to keep that thing swinging. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
tell me something. Who was? I'm gonna start getting into some more of your life, and uh, who are some of the artists that you've worked with? And I just want to. I don't want to tell you where to start. I just want you to start. But I remember you from the Count Basie band.
Well,
Uh,
before that, I was in a. Well, I'm going to say the first thing I got in was a Paul Winter Sextet when we had the college jazz band. We won a
okay.
contest in Washington D.C. as the best college jazz band in the United States.
Hmm.
There were some big time judges there. John Hammond, Gene Lees. He was the editor of Downbeat. And I can't remember who the third judge was, but he was just as high uh, equality of a real judge.
Yeah.
And so that's how we got to be the first jazz band to play in the White House. And that was
Okay.
around 62. Then I got with Eddie Harris. Well,
Yeah.
I'd been playing around with Eddie Harris, but he got a little recording date, and we did that Exodus to Jazz. Now, that was the first jazz record to sell 1 million copies.
Really.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Amazing.
And I tell you, man, everybody in the band got paid $200, and back then that was a lot of money. I grabbed that money and ran out the back door. Meantime, Eddie was in on the residuals of it. He bought a new house, married the prettiest girl in Chicago, uh, got a dog, named it Exodus, and then he continued to experiment. Eddie was putting a trumpet mouthpiece on a saxophone, and
Really.
vice versa. He was doing things like that. He was the first one to play in one microphone, and it would come out 5 sax sounds.
Is that right?
Yeah, he was the first one that could get so he could play one chorus, like what the super sax does. Eddie did that on one horn to play a bird line, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was Eddie Harris. And that was it. He's the first guy I remember when we left Chicago to go out on the road there for a minute. First stop in Detroit, they we went up to the desk and said, "How much is the room?" And they said it's $10. And back then, I mean, most rooms were under five, I think. But anyway, back then, $10. Uh, Eddie said, uh, "This broadcast go out to people under 16." Does your show go out to younger people? That's what I know. I'm asking you, Manny.
Yeah. Yes, it goes out to everybody.
So I want to keep this clean. But Eddie said, the shower, shave, and S. He says, "You mean you want $10?" That was the first time I paid $10 for a hotel room. I don't think it's ever come down since. You
Uh,
know.
yeah.
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 But that was Eddie, boy. And then around Chicago, man, as a musician, you could work back then. I mean,
Okay.
downtown, the Loop. Well, there were jam sessions, and there was one jam session that Frank Strozier was running, and the boy he was running this jam session, and Herbie Hancock and I were together that day. We had a little
Okay.
we had a little band. We played off nights for jazz bands in the big clubs, and anyway, I'm changing subjects, but we were down here at the Rendezvous at this club downtown center of Chicago, and we asked Frank Strozier if we could sit in, and he was hardcore about it because two young guys, of course. So he says, somebody, only one person knew us. That's how we got in too. You had
O-
to know somebody in the
Yeah.
band,
Yeah.
and he says, okay. So we went up on the stand, man, and I think almost without telling us what he's playing, he started up and back on
Whoa.
in Indiana, da 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 da. Well, I was in shape, so I could keep it going. Herbie knew the tune. He kept it going. So after about a chorus or two, Frank started changing keys. And I'll tell you, man, Herbie went right with him to
Okay.
the place where you could hear Frank starts to blow harder, like something wasn't working. He couldn't lose us. We were there, man. But we had a little band with Herbie, Reggie Willis. I can't remember the other guy, the other names right now. But we used to play off nights at the Southern Lounge in Chicago. They had Miles, Blakey. Miles Miles had Coltrane at that time, and he gave us the tune Equinox.
Equinox.
Yeah, before Miles ever recorded it.
Okay.
Yeah, because for some reason Miles he had presented it to Miles. Miles kind of put it in the back burner, so he told us he'd like to hear it and wanted to have it played, and he gave us the tune. And of course Herbie just played it so beautiful, man. And that's the one place I remember, man. An off night was with Art Blakey's band.
Okay.
Now I had to go up and ask each drummer as they came through if I could play their drum set. So on man, these are my idols, and these guys look like King Kong to me. So
Yeah.
I went up to Art Blakey and I said, "Mr. Blakey, we're playing tomorrow night in the off night, and I wonder if it'd be okay if I could use your drums." And he said, "What? What do you mean? What do you mean coming up here and asking me if you can use my drums? You don't have to ask." He scared the hell out of me to the
I'm
point
sure
where
he
he
did.
would
That
change.
just scared me.
Yeah, that's the impression I wanted to give. Yeah, and he said he was yelling at me for even having to ask him. Art
Mm.
Blakey.
I
Yeah,
never
that
met him.
huh?
I never met
Oh,
Art Blakey.
he was strong. He was a strong dude. Yeah, I mean, because he said those statements like, "Yeah, this is a good band. It's all young guys, when these get too old, I'm going to get some younger ones.
Yep.
Yeah, and he did. I mean, he had the Freddie Hubbards, the Wynton Marsalis, the guy that got killed, and he had some good young musicians with him. Yeah.
That's what kept him going.
Yep. 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 Because he was on a tour with his band with Sarah Vaughan. When I was with Sarah Vaughan, we went down to Brazil, and he was in his 60s then, and he took down two of his little babies. They were so small, he was carrying one in each arm. I think they were twins, but
Yeah.
at 60 some years old, he had a couple of them. That's what I remember about him the most, like that, man. But Max was the one I loved. I idolized Max, you know,
Max
and
Roach.
anything he would say or do, man. And I'll never forget his first words. I was in Basie's band. We were playing Boston, Paul's Mall, and
I'm hip to Paul's Mall.
yeah, all
Yeah,
right.
I'm here. I played there.
Well, we were playing in there, and there was another jazz club in the same building around the other side, like Jazz Workshop or something. I can't remember.
The Jazz Workshop.
Max was playing that room.
Okay.
We were playing the Paul's Mall. And he comes around, and I'm up here playing. I'm feeling really good and loose, nothing's wrong. And I see Max there. All of a sudden, I thought to myself, oh, shit, what can I play? Everything I know, I learned from him. It's going. So I didn't know what to do and whatnot, but I just kept going. We got through that set. I got off the stage, and I sheepishly walked around to where he was, right up to him. I said, hi, Max, how you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. What do you think? And Max just looked at me with a straight face and said, oh, so you got the job. I'll tell you, man, that was so. I went from here, I went from here down here. All of a sudden, because that's all he said about the gig.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And he had been one of my idols. Now, another one, Louis Bellson. I'll tell you, Louis Bellson, Papa Joe, and Buddy Rich all told me the same thing. Watch your health.
Okay.
Keep keep up on your health. The night I joined Basie in New York, on like a Christmas Eve, Papa Joe Jones came down to see the band, and he raised up my coat and shirt to see what kind of undershirt I was wearing. And of course, I had on one of those Italian with straps, Italian wife beater type shirts, and they
Yeah.
and it was in red. And Joe told me, he said, you can't afford to be pretty. He said, get yourself some cotton T-shirts. You gotta have cotton T-shirts, and
Okay.
that's where he taught me. Well, back then, the ink in the clothes wasn't as good as it is today. So it would run on your skin. It would leak in your skin when you get sweaty. I
Yeah.
mean, to the point that Papa Joe wore white socks all the time only. And if he was doing a gig and they were dressed up in tuxedos or anything, he would put black socks on over the white socks and maybe have the shoes a size larger. And he didn't wear them until he'd come into the gig with his shoes, like dancers, excuse
Yeah.
me, like dancers do. Yeah. So that was Papa Joe. He believed in keeping all that cotton next to your body.
Keep
And then,
keep that keep them impurities away.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Buddy Rich, the gig ended. And one of the ones I was at his gig, and I went back in the back, and they said, "Yeah, Harold Jones is out here." He said, "Basie's drummer." Oh, Basie's drummer. Come on in, Harold. Yeah. So how you doing? Now, Buddy, he's taking off his shirt, he's taking off his undershirt, he's putting his towel completely around him, and he tells me, you can't be too careful after the gig when you're wet." A drummer. And he
Yeah.
said, yeah. And he sat there until he was drying and his pores did something or other. And there was even be knocks on the door. Say, hey, buddy, so. All right, leave me alone. I'm talking. Can't you see I'm talking to Harold? Whoa. And he's telling me about the health, man. And he'd have complete dry clothes on, put complete dry clothes on after every gig. Okay. Then I went to see Louis Belson, one of his shows. And after the show backstage, I got to go backstage to see him. He was back in the back with his shirt off, his undershirt off. He was putting alcohol on himself.
Really?
Yeah. He put alcohol all over. And he might have had a lady there with him that was rubbing down his back. Yeah. Because
Now,
he put it.
what was the purpose of the alcohol?
That's what I asked. Now, I can't remember which way it was said, but it either opens your pores or closes your pores. It helps you.
I know cold water closes your pores too.
Uh huh.
Yeah,
Okay, well, that's what Louis did after a gig, soaking wet. So all three of those guys were health conscious like that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, all three. But anyway, I've always followed the drummers that I thought I really, really liked. Like Philly Joe Jones, man. I went to
yeah.
see him at a jam session one night, man. He he didn't have any drums. Somebody brought some drums for him to use. And of course, the stage was going to be too small. And the way he knows the way he plays, it would kick that bass drum right off the stage. So he had to get a hammer and some nails.
I remember them days.
Yeah. And he was up there, the hammering these nails in. And this cat went into rhythmic patterns to the point that everybody started listening. Yeah, yeah, Philly. And they would laugh for the way he was playing the hammer. And then when he got all done putting the nails, he got up, turned around, and smiled. Everybody just clapped and applauded. This guy ain't done nothing but hit the hammer, man. I, I can't remember where that was, but I'm thinking it was something like one of those Joe Siegel sessions in Chicago. He
Okay.
he used to bring in some really good talent. He really did. Yeah. Yeah, man. But I love Philly Joe. The guy, the cat just sent me the Philly Joe vampire record. You know, he put out a record.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, something. It was big at Halloween time, which is right now. So that's why the cat sent me one. Uh, God, Manny, if I can come up with it after we hang up, I'll send it to you. But
Oh man, really?
yeah, 'cause he talks like Dracula. He's Count
Okay.
Dracula, and then the music is like that. Then they go on and swing. When that finishes, then they go back into the Halloween music. I mean, I couldn't decide if it was really good or really corny. But
Okay, I hear you. I hear you.
yeah, it's out there. You have to hear it for yourself. Yeah. So anyway, all these have been good rides, man. And then I got this gig there with Sass, and we rode around and rode around. Sass would she'd give you the shirt off her back,
Who was
and then
that?
Sarah Vaughan,
Okay, okay.
the divine one, and she'd give you the shirt off her back, and then at an airport a year later, waiting for a delayed flight, she said, "You remember that shirt I gave you? Well, I left $2 in the pocket. I want that back." Sarah, I done washed it twice.
That's a good one. That's a
Oh
good one.
man, Sass was that. The divine one was sassy at that time. See, after midnight, she became sassy, man. I mean, really, she'd invite us to her room after the gig, man. I tell you, she'd get a brand new bottle of Remy Martin.
Have mercy.
Oh man, cognac. She'd take off the lid and throw it in the trash because it was just like it was a bottle of beer. We were going to drink that without
Yeah.
even needing the cap back. Yeah, we
Well,
knew
how was Sarah to work with? She was good people, good person to work with.
totally, totally.
Okay.
Everybody I worked for has been good. Um, there's just some of them that are hard to take or swallow, like Sammy Davis and his entourages. You
Okay.
know, there was another one. Oh, Harry James. He was. He was a little bit of a drinker. I'd see him drunk twice in the same day. I mean, completely out of it to completely together to completely out of it.
Really, really.
Yeah, this cat could go. And he Harry, I don't know something about him. He had his hits and whatnot, but I learned one thing from Ira Sullivan: if you can't say something good about a person, don't say anything.
That's right. That's right. I hear you.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey man,
So
on Harold, on that note, we're gonna if you just bear with me, we're gonna take a quick break so I can acknowledge some people. And
okay,
first of all, I want to acknowledge the fact that I'm listening to my mentor, the legendary Harold Jones. And we're not through with him yet. I gotta take a break and I'll be right back, Harold. Don't leave.
okie doke.
Oh man, I'm so excited. Again, we're listening to the legendary drummer Harold Jones, and I have been following him since high school, the year of 1967. I'd like to also acknowledge some people behind the scenes to make this podcast possible, and that's Diggs Entertainment, and they do all the editing and co-producing with me. Also, I would like to acknowledge Istanbul Symbols, Miham, and I'd like to thank them for endorsing my cymbals and keeping me sounding right cymbal wise. Again, on that note, I don't want to stay out here. I want to get right back to my guest, the legendary drummer Harold Jones, and get him right back to the stage right now. You there, my man?
Yes, I am, man.
All right, let's go on. Tell me something. I can tell already you got a lot of these. What are some of the funniest things that you've had traveling on the road, man, that you've encountered that you can talk about? Talk to me.
I'm going to tell you, I can't come up with something specific right now, man, because things were good out there. We were
Okay.
laughing a whole lot. I mean, you got to
Okay.
be laughing a whole lot,
Yeah.
you know, to be happy, and because you weren't making any money. Yeah,
Well,
like
tell me how was it? How was it? You left off at Sarah Vaughan,
yeah,
and I think I picked you up with Natalie Cole. Let's talk about Natalie Cole. Go ahead.
Natalie Cole, I believe, would have been the next big female singer. I mean, she had her dad's qualities, something about her, even though it was a complete female voice. She had her dad's quality about her, her timing, never turned the beat around.
Okay.
Like a jazz singer, if you're not that educated, you could turn it around and not know what you did do. And Natalie was one. I mean, we had a family with that Natalie band.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really was. I mean, it was the kind of thing where even your wives went out on the road with you. But Natalie, every time we were working to houses that were packed, and you'd see three generations of one family in the
Yeah.
audience, you know. But then there would be that group of girls that were all girlfriends of Natalie's that would say, "Hey, girl, when you going to sing Pink Cadillac?" Because Natalie had her own hit and her own type of music there before she did her dad stuff. So
Okay.
she was popular there. She had her own little reputation going, and those girlfriends were back there every show. Oh, we love the show, but when you going to sing Pink Cadillac? So I mean, after about 10 years, that's when she switched back from her gowns and evening dresses to the black leather pants.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and she went towards that type music, which I wished her well, but she went way too soon.
Okay.
Her and her son, way
Yeah.
too soon. Yeah, yeah. But that really was a drag. Then right after her, let's see, somehow or other in here. Oh, I got with the Philip Morris big band. That was a big.
Okay.
That was the best band that money can buy. And in the band, we did a world tour. We went out one way and we came back in the other. And the two singers were Ray Charles and B.B. King.
Is that right?
Yeah, uh, BB's the only one that recorded his part of the show and during that tour, and that was live at the Apollo, and that won a Grammy.
Okay.
So I got on a Grammy record with BB King.
Fantastic, man.
I know, man. I
That's
know.
fantastic.
I know. I loved him, and people. I'm going to tell you, the people that are the true giants, like BB King, Count Basie, they are just mellow, cool. You don't hear them have to get loud. They don't feel like they have to talk to be seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's they were giants, man. They were giants as people. Yeah, and I then right after that, that was only a year, and then we went and right after that, man, I got a call back for Tony because I had played with Tony in like '68.
Okay.
I was living in New York, and we'd go down to Miami Beach and do a weekend with a Fairmont Hotel and do a weekend and come back. And he had the record hits, but he wasn't working because Frank Dino, the Rat Pack, Stephen Eady, everybody else had the gigs, but he was making million record hits. So they'd want him at some of these places on the weekend, and he'd call me. He didn't go down and do that. So that was in the '68, '69 area, and Basie though, I got on that bus one day and it went around this way. And when it came back from the other way. So,
Yeah.
so by that time, Tony had to move on because there was a good. He had a good trio. It was John Bunch on piano. I don't know if you know of him, and I can't remember who was playing bass, but he was good too at the time.
Yeah.
And that was him. But then I got the call back with Tony in about 2002 or 2003.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and uh, to come back to work for him. Man, I went back to work for him, and because of him, I ain't out there on that street in a tent now. I mean, Tony paid the cats like they deserved to be paid, and you'd go out and do your gigs. Then you'd come home. Then you had what was called a retainer.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we were paid sitting at home. That way, if we were working gigs, which we were free to do, but if he called because something came up, you know, you
You
could
had to
go.
get with him.
You had to go with him. It was a
Yeah.
great condition for me because I'd been doing that already for 30 years. 40
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with Basie, we had a um, we had an accountant with Basie's band that took all the things out of your payroll to tell you how much he was taking out, and he didn't put anything in anything. This guy's name was Al Gaines. Now, his name can be known because he went to jail.
It should be known.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And uh, so we didn't get anything put in a pension fund, a health fund, Social Security. None of that got put in. So then we went and worked with, I did that 10 years with Sarah Vaughan. Well, about the same thing happened. In 10 years I was with her, she had five road managers, or
Whoa.
managers,
Okay.
five managers. And I say that because every year, the next year, they would find out where they had stole from that previous year because it didn't match up. So they'd hire somebody else. And the
Hmm.
same thing would happen. See, a couple of the guys I did like, but I don't know that they were stealing. But anyhow, she had five different guys. People like those giant singers, they like to marry. They seem to like pimp type guys, macho guys that come
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
strong. I mean, a nice guy, a passive guy, they almost, there's a sign of weakness almost if you're a really big, big star. And the only person I ever saw that could attract the big singers was Wayman Reed.
I'm not familiar.
He played trumpet on the Basie band, about fourth trumpet. He had one of those rings, on his little finger. So when he got up to play, that ring was sticking out. Uh, we could take a 500-mile road trip, and when we got off the bus, his pants had a crease in them. He wouldn't even cross his legs because of the crease in the pants.
Really?
Really. Now, Sarah Vaughan, let me go backwards. Ella Fitzgerald stopped the Basie band bus and said, I want that trumpet player to come ride with me. And Ella was attracted to him. Okay. After that, Sarah Vaughan was attracted to him to the point she married him,
Okay.
Wayman Reed. And
Wayman Reed.
Wayman Reed. And that didn't last long because people like Billy Hickstein was calling him Mr. Vaughan.
Okay.
That kind of got to him, man. You know, and
Yeah.
I mean,
Mr.
I
Vaughn.
Wayman and I were tight on the band because when he went with her for some reason or other, I got his cat. I had his cat,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, we were really close. I had some good. You had to have a band wife, somebody to, if you overslept, call you, somebody to watch your back. I had Wayman, then there was Oscar Brashear. We were really tight.
Now I've heard that name.
Yeah, Oscar, he could have been a great trumpet player, but I guess he got some kind of sickness that messed with his throat or something. Something
Okay.
to do. I never did hear the story either. But Oscar Bashir, there was Pete Minger. Yeah. There's another lead trumpet player. He was funny. Yeah, Paul Probst. No, Paul, no, but Paul Cone. Paul
Paul
Cone.
Combs.
The lead trumpet player. He had his own big band down in Florida. And I know it had to be good because Paul was a great lead trumpet player. And he was the one guy, he was like 90 some years old, and said, well, what advice can you give us? He said, well, when you start to get old, just keep your mouth shut and your bowels open.
That's some great advice.
so, so I'm saying, you see, you learn these lessons through what I would call these guys. These were music schools. They were the
Yeah.
colleges. That's what we were learning with Basie, with Duke, with any of those bands out there. Woody. Anybody that came through any of those bands, those were music schools, man. And
A
when you play in
question
a
for
different
you.
place, when you play in a different place every night, and the sound is here echoing, the next night is here echoing, the next night is out here echoing. I mean, your pianissimos may vary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Quick question for you. We're moving on, trying to get some time here.
yeah.
Uh, back to Tony Bennett. I met you there. You invited me to come see this show. I don't know if you remember. It was in Las Vegas. Uh,
Okay.
as a person, you didn't really complete how it was uh, being around Tony. I know when I met him, he was just an extraordinary, wonderful person, and you made that possible for me to meet him and shake his hand. How was it traveling with him and working for him before the end?
Well, he was what you said. He was that. As a matter of fact, he was like Sarah had this thing too. I want my band to stay in the same hotel I'm in. Well, now here, this Tony's in the Ritz Carlton or the Waldorf or something, and
Yeah,
I go to order a hamburger and I see that it's $35.
to this very day, it might be 50.
Yeah, yeah, today. I know because I had to ask then. I said, "What do French fries come with that?" Because I was really hungry.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but because we were with Tony, and you took it with a lump of coal or a lump of sugar or a lump of salt or whatever, and that was just one of the things that came with the fringe benefits. But
Yeah.
yeah, you can get spoiled, man. Yeah, you can
So you're
easily.
saying he covers your food and everything?
No, he didn't cover the food. That's
Okay.
why it was expensive to me. Uh, because some guys ate burgers, some guys ate steaks, some guys ate caviar.
Yeah,
you know,
caviar.
yeah. And definitely he didn't pay for any drinks or booze. But occasionally, if he saw you at the bar, he'd walk over and two or three of us would be sitting there and he'd pick up the check. Yeah,
Man, man, man.
yeah, yeah. So I'm going to say Tony was a guy that respected musicians and remembered the guys that did him a favor or something, anything like that.
Yeah. Did he
Yeah.
play at all? Did he play any instrument?
No,
His
never
voice
heard him.
was his instrument.
Huh? Yeah, his voice was his instrument. He never drove a car.
Is that right?
Well, he told me he did try it once, and I think he hit something.
He said he did try it.
Yeah, so he never got a driver's license. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
He never owned a pair of blue jeans. Yeah, it's
Amazing. That's
yeah. It's I can't think of another never thing, but I mean there were a couple of things with Tony that you
yeah.
just knew not to do. Like you don't jingle change in your pocket because that's an Italian thing that says that your boss is cheap. You know.
Okay. Only thing you got in your pocket is change.
Italians, boy, I love that little rule.
I
Yeah,
remember his name was Be- Tony Benito.
yeah.
Yeah.
Benedetto.
Benedetto. That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he said he tells the story. His real name was Anthony Dominic Benedetto.
Benedetto.
Anthony Dominic Benedetto. And
Okay.
that's why Bob Hope gave him the name. He says, "Hey, it's too long for the marquee."
You got to change it to Bennett's. Yeah.
Yeah, he said
Yeah.
Tony
Yeah. Yeah.
Bennett. Yeah, and he said Bob Hope gave him his name.
I heard that too. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, that was why, and yeah, but Tony related to his musicians. Yeah.
Very good. Moving right along, my man. What are some things you're currently working on or doing now, if any, or any shows coming up? Anything?
Right now, I got uh, I don't know what to call it. I got an invite to go to the in San Francisco Davies Symphony Hall. The Count Basie band is going to be performing there with the San Francisco Symphony
Oh
on
man.
yeah coming up on December the 3rd. It's uh, Dee Askew. She kind of like manages the band, and she told me they got three or four songs that the band is playing when the orchestra's playing, and I guess the orchestra conductor will be conducting those, but Scotty Barnhart, yeah Barnhart, he'll be conducting the Basie band, which
Okay.
I think he's probably the best thing that ever happened to conducting that band,
Are you
because
gonna be playing behind the drum set?
no, nope. They asked me to come as the 50-year guest. I'm the only one that was there 50 years ago.
Have mercy.
Yeah, and I'm the only one alive that was in the band.
You
Yeah.
know that brings back from when I back 50 years ago when I was in the Billy Preston band.
Uh huh.
Out of that band, I'm the only one still living that has the story.
That is the story.
Yeah,
See
that can
that?
tell. It's a and Harold, is sometimes it just brings tears to my eyes because it's such a blessing to still be here, like me and you, to talk about what we've done and where we've come from.
Yeah. Oh
It's just
yeah.
it's just a blessing, man. You got about 5 years on me, but the thing about it, like I said, I'm 77. What are you, 80? So you in your 80s?
85 and a half.
80. Okay, go on. Well, you got 2 3 years on me. Hey man,
My grandkids said, Grandpa, you can count halves.
what advice? We're moving right along because we're
Yeah.
getting into time. What advice can you give to? You asked about young people, up and coming young drummers. And right now, what advice can you give them? Because you've given me a lot already through the years and up to this very day. Just share some of that knowledge that you can tell the young musicians and drummers.
If if you want to really be a drummer and you really want to be a musician, be sincere. In other words, if you go in a room to practice and after you've been in there a little while and you thought you were in there 20 minutes or so, you go out to get some water and you look at the clock and you've only been in there 10 minutes. You don't know what? Maybe you are hitting your head against the wall. Maybe you even need to think. Now, if you go into practice and you go out to get some water and you think you were in there 10 minutes and you look at the clock and you were in there 20 minutes, I say, hey, you must have been thinking or getting something. Your mind was progressive. And I think you should get right back in there and keep doing what you were doing. So
Right.
practice. Whatever method you want to use to practice, whether it be the rudiments, and I say for the drummers, they gotta do the rudiments, at least the basic ones, just to keep both hands equal.
Yeah.
You don't want to be one of these one-handed monsters. And it doesn't matter if you play traditional or match, because everything is back indoors on a drum set. Match is where it came from.
Yes.
It only went out to that traditional when you, because the only gigs around were parades. Yeah,
He had to play like that.
yeah, yeah. And that arm
Yeah.
got too tired up here like this, so
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we kept the stick there, but we went down here and got that different grip. So that's why I say doesn't matter which way you play. I've tried back to a traditional now, and I've been doing. I mean to a match because I know I played match with mallets and with timpani.
Yeah.
And so I know I play match with those, and that's really a necessary way to play it. So, but on the drum set, I've done the traditional so long, and the way that the drums are set up for me, I think I got to stay traditional.
I hear you. I still I use match if I need to play an R&B piece
Yeah,
and I need a little more power on the snare.
right, right,
Then I will use the match, just
right,
just to push a little more for myself. But like you
exactly.
said, I was playing match back in my R&B days.
Yeah,
Back in my rock and roll days. You
yeah,
couldn't get enough power.
right,
Playing the correct way, so you had to play match. At least I
right.
did, anyway. You know.
Yes, yeah, you're right. You were right, and you are right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
My other question is down to my last one. You've talked about a lot of shows and performances. Is there one band that you've worked with, and I see you wearing a Count Basie shirt there.
Oh
I
yeah.
see that. Yeah. What
Count
what is
Basie Theater in
okay?
Red Bank, New Jersey.
Okay. Oh man, I'd like to be there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I worked a gig there with Tony, and when I saw that they had the shirt, I said, yeah, "Wow!" I said, "Well, I'm going to buy all you got," because they only had like 5 or 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are some of the best uh but what are some of the best bands and shows that you can remember playing from 50 years back up to now? And that's a tough question.
Yeah, that's a tough question because there were a lot of good ones. I'd almost have to take my shoes off. But there was a lot of good ones because you never forget like that appearance in the White House or sitting
Yeah.
next to Jackie Kennedy at a dinner table. You know, you never forget. Like I said, I never forget Eddie Harris saying that to the hotel keeper
Yeah.
rooms with Basie. I mean, I can remember days like when Martin Luther King died. Basie didn't go to the funeral. Now he
Mm.
got a lot of heat from the public out there because he was one of the celebrities that didn't go. But Basie, we all were working on the road, and if he had taken off, we would have lost a week's work. And
Okay.
we were all living day to day. And
Yeah, yeah.
Basie knew that, man, and he stayed on with us to keep the band going, even though it was Martin Luther King. And so you remember moments or days like those. I remember days seeing with Sarah Vaughan. This is I've seen with Sarah Vaughan and Well, I'll go back to this, but Tony Bennett too. We'd be playing in a foreign country, like down South America somewhere, where nobody and not many people were speaking English, and I'd see people down there sitting because I could only see the first two or three rows, and I'd see people sitting down there, and all of a sudden, they'd go into
Mm,
tears, man. They'd start crying when they were singing this song. So
yeah,
after the show, I made a point to go down and ask a couple of these people, uh, I saw you crying. Do you speak English? And he said, no, no. I'm doing this through a translator even now. So, and then I said, well, why would you cry and cry? And they would say, because we could feel it. We
yeah.
feel it up here. So I know that Tony and Sarah brought people to their tears that didn't understand the language. And
I
I think,
remember in Japan, I was traveling Japan with the playing behind the platters, and they could not speak a lick of English, but
yeah,
they knew every word
yeah,
to them songs, and they were singing right along with
yeah,
the
yeah.
Japanese
Isn't
people.
that
That was
it?
amazing,
It
man.
is amazing, isn't it? It is
That's
amazing.
amazing.
Now you see, that's why I loved it when Tony came out with Gaga doing standards. All of the little monsters heard standards. I got a grandson out here, Chinese and American. He
Okay.
was singing the words to these standard songs. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? Which they never would have heard if it hadn't been for Tony there.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
fantastic, man. That's just
yeah.
you know, we're gonna finish talking in a minute, but
Okay.
anyway, I again, I want to acknowledge real quick here my good friend, my mentor, the legendary Harold Jones. I have been following him. He doesn't even know it. I've been following you since I got out in high school, 1967 and before, because we had I was playing in the big band, and I was always listening to the Count Basie band, and I was listening to Harold Jones way back then, man. And God bless your heart, man. Thank you, thank you. I still love you, and you're still my mentor, man.
Well, thank you, Manny. And I can't help but admire your taste.
I got great taste, man.
You got great taste, man.
You
Yeah.
know, before we get out again, I want to just take time to acknowledge the people behind the scenes that make this podcast possible, and that's Diggs Entertainment. And this young cat, his name is Jay Diggs, and he's just an excellent co-producer, excellent editor, and he's going to be on the show soon. And I take my hat off to him, and I thank him very much. Also, Istanbul Symbols Mayhem, who gives me an endorsement on all my symbols and keeps me sounding good on the stage. Anyway, I want to thank all these people. And again, Harold, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for, again, mainly for being my friend. You
My
know,
pleasure, Manny. Thank you. Thank you.
no,
Yeah.
man, thank you. And I thank you for when I call you, you call me back soon as you can.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can keep going on and on, man, but we're running out of time. And
Yeah.
I can just back out here and say thank you so much for being with me. I love you, man. And if you got a minute, I'm gonna end the recording and we'll continue for about 5 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
All right. God bless your heart, man. Thank you so
All right.
much. I love you. And as you always tell me, keep swinging, and keep pushing.
Keep
God
swinging.
bless your heart, man. Bye bye.
Okay, man. Bye bye.